Coming up on tonight's edition of 5 Minute Docos, we celebrate the 146th birthday of famous French composer Claude Debussy by taking a deeper look into the life of this inspirational composer. Claude Debussy, born Achille Claude Debussy, was among one of the most influential composers of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. His mature compositions, distinctive and appealing, combined modernism and sensuality so successfully that their sheer beauty often obscures their technical innovation. Debussy is considered the founder and leading exponent of musical impressionism, although he resisted this label. His adoption of non-traditional scales and tonal structures was paradigmatic for many composers who followed. The son of a shopkeeper and a seamstress, Debussy began piano studies at the Paris Conservatory at the age of 11. While a student there, he encountered the wealthy Nadezhda von Meck, most famous as Tchaikovsky's patroness, who employed him as a music teacher to her children. Through travel, concerts and acquaintances, she provided him with a wealth of musical experience. Most importantly, she exposed the young Debussy to the works of Russian composers such as Borodin and Mussorgsky, who would remain important influences on his music. Debussy began compositional studies in 1880, and in 1884 he won the prestigious Prix de Rome with his cantata The Prodigal Son. This prize financed 2 years of further study in Rome, years that proved to be creatively frustrating. However, the period immediately following was fertile for the young composer. Trips to Beirut and the Paris World Exhibition established respectively his determination to move away from the influence of Richard Wagner, and also his interest in the music of Eastern cultures. After a relatively bohemian period during which Debussy formed friendships with many leading Parisian writers and musicians, not of least of which were Mallarmé, Satie and Chaussin, the year 1894 saw the enormously successful premiere of his prelude à l'après-midi d'un faune, which means the prelude to the afternoon of a faun, a truly revolutionary work and which brought his mature compositional voice into focus. His seminal opera Pelléas and Mélisande, completed the next year, would become a sensation at its first performance in 1902. The impact of those two works earned Debussy widespread recognition as well as frequent attacks from critics who failed to appreciate his forward-looking style. And over the first decade of the 20th century he established himself as the leading figure in French music, so much that the term Debussyism, used both positively and pejoratively, became fashionable in Paris. Debussy spent his remaining healthy years immersed in French musical society, writing as a critic, composing and performing his own works internationally. Unfortunately, he succumbed to colon cancer in 1918, also after surviving one of the first colonoscopies. He also suffered a deep depression brought on by the onset of World War I. Debussy's personal life is also punctuated by unfortunate events, most famously the attempted suicide of his first wife, Lily Texier, whom he abandoned for the singer Emma Bardak. However, his subsequent marriage to Bardak and their daughter Claude Emma, whom they both called Chouchou, and who became the dedicatee of the composer's Children's Corner piano suite, provided the middle-aged Debussy with great personal joys. Debussy wrote successfully in most every genre, adapting his distinctive compositional language to the demands of each. His orchestral works, of which Prelude à l'après-midi d'un faune and La Mer are most familiar, established him as a master of instrumental colour and texture. It is this attention to tone colour, his layering of sound upon sound so that they blend to form a greater evocative whole, that linked Debussy in the public mind to the Impressionist painters. His works for solo piano, particularly his collections of preludes and etudes, which have remained staples of the repertoire since their composition, bring into relief his assimilation of elements from both Eastern cultures and antiquity, especially pentatonicism, the use of 5-note scales, modality, the use of scales from ancient Greece and the medieval church, parallelism, the parallel movements of chords and lines, and the whole tone scale, formed by dividing the octave into 6 equal intervals. Pelléas and Mélisande and his collections of songs for solo voice establish a strength of the connection to French literature and poetry, especially the symbolist writers, and stand as some of the most understatedly expressive works in his repertory. The writings of Mallarmé, Maeterlinck, Baudelaire and his childhood friend Paul Verlaine appear prominently among his chosen texts and join symbolically with the composer's own unique modes and forms of expression. Even after his death, Debussy did a lot for the musical industry. He is considered to be one of the 20th century's most influential composers, influencing the music of such composers as Igor Stravinsky, Oliver Messiaen, Bela Bartok, Pierre Boulez and Henri Dutilleux. I'm James Burke and thanks again for joining us.